Hello my friends, this is Dwight from Boys Glory 700 coming back at you with a quick video. And in this video I wanted to discuss where's the church? During this crisis, the church, which I think is the single greatest institution that could, if it was unified, overturn the current situation that we're all encountering presently, no matter where you go in the world, that situation would be done overnight, without a doubt. And I had an interesting discussion with my mom. I've had it more than once because I'm responsible for the care of my mother. She's elderly, she's not in the best of health, and between my brother and myself, we're responsible for her care. And so I was discussing with my mother my frustration with the visible church and for the lack of their inability to be able to see the situation that we're currently in for what it is. The church, and I'm speaking in general terms, whether that be Catholic or Protestant or whatever variation you can think of, the church is supposed to be the light of the world. It's supposed to expose darkness. It's supposed to expose immorality in society. And as it relates to our current situation, they have failed to do that. Because like so many other people out there, they believe the narrative. They believe what they have been told regarding this so-called health emergency. And so they're falling in line just like everyone else. And they're believing the narrative. They're believing that this particular pathogen actually exists. They're believing in the tests that are being used to confirm whether you are positive or negative in terms of being exposed to this pathogen, none of which are true. But if the ministers had taken the time to pursue or investigate the claims that are being presented to the public as being truth, they would probably quickly discover, like some of us already have, that none of this is true, that this is an absolute smokescreen. It is a Trojan horse. It is what the powers that shouldn't be are placing before us like a carrot, dangling before us so that we're fixated on the so-called perceived threat, whereby it's only being used to bring about the New World Order, the Great Reset, the system of the beast. There's no doubt about it. And we've been in this system now at least for 2 years, or going on 2 years, the completion of 2 years. And they're not losing any steam because their agenda is world domination. And they're going to have their way. And so the frustration that I see with the church is that they're not aware to any significant degree of what's actually coming to pass. And so I was saying to my mother, in frustration I might add, that although the ministers, for the most part, have said that as it relates to the venom, that it's basically your choice, and most churches and most ministers have advocated for the members of their church to take the venom, to take the shot. What they failed to do is to support those within the church or the body of Christ based on their own personal convictions and research, or maybe just the Spirit of God speaking directly to them, that they're concerned about taking the venom. And to the extent I would put myself in among that number, they're outright refusing to take it because they know that there's something nefarious that's going on with the aggressive nature that the governments around the world are pursuing, that each and every one of us are required to take this venom. And so the thought that I had was, why isn't the headship of the various churches standing up and opposing the various governments, institutions, in terms of the immorality that they're pursuing among people that have a personal conviction against taking this venom because they don't believe it's safe. Why aren't they speaking up? Why aren't they saying, well, no, you know what? The government doesn't have a right to determine for you what is acceptable and what is not acceptable for you to inject into your own body. And you certainly shouldn't be penalized to the extent that your livelihood or your job is at risk or at stake simply for the fact that you have determined for yourself that taking this particular injection, taking this particular venom does not agree or suit your personal convictions, your bodily autonomy. And so by the church remaining silent on this issue, in effect, they're agreeing with the government that if you do not take the venom, that you are worthy or deserving of being unemployed. You're deserving of having various restrictions and sanctions placed against you because of the fact that you will not comply with the directives of those that are abusing their authority and their position in government. That's exactly what they're doing. And so, in effect, the church is agreeing with the system of the beast that they're doing good without even recognizing or understanding that that's exactly what they're doing. And this is a great travesty, in my humble opinion. The church is supposed to be the light of the world. It's supposed to expose darkness. It's supposed to expose immorality in the hearts of men. But they're unable to do so because they're believing the lie. They're believing the narrative that they have been given by the powers that should not be. And so we find ourselves, and when I say we, I'm talking about everybody, whether you are saved or unsaved, whether you are a Christian or a non-Christian or an atheist or agnostic or whatever you see yourself as being. If the church continues to remain silent regarding this situation, they've won. And so far, in my opinion, I believe they have. But again, it's not over because there's a church within the church, and there is a small element within the church or the body of Christ that knows that what we are experiencing and what we are being told is a blatant lie, and that it is a deception from Satan and from those that are in the throes of running this demonic world system, the system of the beast. Don't be fooled, my friends. This stuff is coming to pass, and we have to be aware of what's coming. We can't look to men. We can't look to the system of men for our salvation. That's like beating a dead horse. It will not happen. We have to look to Christ, who is the author and finisher of our faith.